Hi, it's Joey Reynolds, your favorite new prop comic. Am I a comic? Comic book, probably. Okay, it's time for us to talk about things that are very important, like chemical warfare. I'm enjoying chemical warfare with my own shampoo. This is how I get gray hair. You give yourself, I don't really have gray hair. I give myself gray hair because then you get an older audience and they'll buy anything. You know, the older audience, they'll fall for anything. Wait a minute, is this dandruff? No. See, now I'm a, what did Gino, my hairstylist, say? I was Alpine, what was it, Nordic blonde? Is that it? I don't know. That means like Pat Sajak, you know, he's got that transitional hair. He's on every night on Wheel of Fortune. And I got my own little, now see, I'm gray. Does that give me more distinct? Am I more distinguished? Yes, if I put tape on my mouth, that probably would do a lot better. I'm listening to my Celtic music under a Celtic sky with my gray hair. And I got gray hair when I saw what had happened in the Ukraine, because I know that this Jaboni, who was it? What's his name again? Putsky, Putin, that's it. I think he's due for a shampoo, don't you think? They could take his head and hold it underwater for a few minutes. Yeah. we need to give that guy a nice taste of his own medicine. So why don't we, while they're all in the Ukraine, closing in on Kiev, why don't we all go to Moscow and start bombing the hell out of that place and see how it feels when they all have to leave Moscow? But I do like St. Petersburg. Heck, it happens to be his birthplace. It was Leningrad during the communist days. Now it'll go back to be Putinette grade. Putin. I don't know. These guys, they celebrate themselves because they want to be somebody. Alexander the Great. There was Catherine the Great. Now we got Putin the Great. And, you know, how great can you be? And how do you spell it? Grate. That's the kind of great he is. So the Celtic, under a Celtic sky, Michael Bradbury. Now this is the St. Patrick's Day treat. And my friend in California put this together. Celtic music. I used to hate it on the Ed Sullivan Show when they would come out there and do the jig, you know. And I hated that, but I didn't like it. And and those guys in skirts, the Scotch. And I lived with a guy who actually used to wear one of those around the house, but he was just a cross-dresser. A cross-dresser is someone who's really mad about being a man. He was very cross. So we got these Celtic skies that we're enjoying right now, and I remember the great Irish prayer, made the God put you in the palm of His hand, and may He hold you up, and maybe that day will be the day that God does put me in His hand and does push-ups. That will not be a good Irish celebration. So the Celtic music is that music that they do. You know, I like that river dance where they all dance like that. You know, you've seen it on commercials now. They do that. They have black people doing that now, which is kind of like, you know, I don't know how many black people live in Ireland, but it seemed like that was a very white place, you know, probably because of the weather. You know, it's always, see, dark people are where the sun is. Like I'm down in Florida. This is, you know, you get dark when you're down here. For some of us, you can't get dark enough emotionally. But this is where black people come from. The sun, close to the equator. Where do you think they came from? Some ghetto in Harlem? No, they came from the sun. And the sun is where the light is, you know, and it's also very healthy. And what was it? Someone was telling me yesterday that, oh, I know my daughter. She said that she has a Korean, no, it's a Vietnamese doctor. And they never show their age, she said, because they always look the same. They always look the same. And I guess, listen, I don't count by age. If I went by age, I would have to, the only place I count age is in cheese. That's it. If it's got a little mold on it, it could even be better. But you know, there's a different kind of a world we live in now where it's a mixed bag of everybody. Everybody's here in America. That's why we never lose. Don't put your money against America, because we are everybody. See, this is the only country on the planet that has everybody. The other ones are just about themselves. This one here is about ourselves and everybody else. We call ourselves American to give ourselves identity, but we really come from somewhere else. And everybody who lives here comes from somewhere else. Not the case in Poland, not the case in Russia. They're Russians, they're German, they're Poles. They all come from there. We all have all of those people come right here. So if you have everybody together, you can't lose. How can you lose? Everybody's got an idea of what they are used to. They bring it here, put it on the table, and we all eat. And everybody has a good time. See, this thing about fighting each other across the world, I have a little something about that. I don't know how to win a war. I don't know how to win a good meal, a good dinner. I'll tell you this much: if you're going to use gas in your warfare, you're going to have a hard time with me, because I believe that people should not be using any chemicals on each other at all. Maybe the guns, the guns are all right, protect your family, but I don't know about this weaponry with stuff that's going to harm you. But then too, I'm sober about 40 years. I've been I'm used to chemicals. I mean, God, I have my own chemical war going on with all the stuff I put in my body with the psychedelics, and I joined the Beatles. I didn't join a cult religion. I joined a rock and roll group. That's what I did. No, when I was first on the air as a disc jockey, I was really pretty famous and popular and all that stuff. You probably don't know who I was. But anyway, having all of this distinction and being the great big #1 disc jockey in the whole country, then along came the Beatles and knocked us right out of the box, because they got bigger than the jock. See, the disc jockey was the guy. He was the person, mostly men. That's why I said the guy. We were sitting there and we were on the air, and boy, we're playing these tunes that we liked. Some were getting paid for it, others were just into the music. And we made people stars and superstars and famous, and made them a lot of money. And everybody was at our call. They would come and do our dances, and we would get a lot of things from the record companies, because we were the ones who presented the music to the public. Then the Beatles came, and they didn't need us anymore. Nobody needed us. He said, "Hey, get out of the way. You're in the way of the music now. Sergeant Pepper is coming on. Get going there." And it kind of changed the ball game. But the ball game keeps changing. I'm in the dugout right now, and I'm still a field player. I can still hit them, and I can still pitch and bitch. I know how to do this, but when you're older, they don't want you to do that anymore. They want you to sit down and enjoy the game. And some of us are so anxious. We don't want to sit there and enjoy the game. We want to play the game. I want to get in there, and even let's say on the film area. Robert De Niro, I mean, he never stopped working. He's worth about $900 million, but that's because he does nothing but films. Can't keep a wife. She wanted half the money last year in court, and the court said no, because in New York State you don't have to split everything. In California you do. He lives in New York State, and this is something that actors want to do. Even name one, any one of them. Brad Pitt, they all want to work. George Clooney is selling toasters and coffee machines, but they want to work. You get it in your blood. You say, hey, we like the fame, we like the adulation. Many of us like the money, but not everybody. And then there's that other thing that we do, which is to need acceptance. We want people to love us and to give us this fake hug that we get from the media, the electronic hug. You get when you were first a father, you may get an unsolicited baby kiss, and that's the finest feeling in the world. But the electronic way, I don't know if I want to get watch the birth of a baby on Zoom with my own child, because I was one of those guys that was in the operating room when the baby was born. Matter of fact, her name is Mercedes, because we didn't have a name. We thought we were going to get a boy, and out pops this girl without a weenie. And I said, whoops. And the doctor said, I hope you got a name. I said, no. And she said, well, what did you want? And I said, a Mercedes. That's what I wanted. And they gave her the name. So that's how I got my Mercedes. Now I'm fighting for an old Volkswagen. They took the buses now and they're making them into vehicles electric. All those old Volkswagen buses that we had when I was a hippie and had a headband and a bong on my belt, and I was camping in strange places and not knowing where I was going to wake up the next day or who I was with. But I did have peg pants. And I never took my shoes off. I was like a good cowboy. I was going to die with my boots on. So that's it. That's today's installment. Come back tomorrow and I'll give you more. You know where the food is. If you hey, listen, you like what I'm doing, then come over here because at least you know where the feeding is. This is the Joey Reynolds buffet because I can't stay on one particular food or one topic. I keep moving around, and that's another way to dodge a bullet. I don't know about the chemicals though. Am I gray enough? Shades of gray. Ooh, bigger audience. Bigger hair. I look like my old aunt. It's I hate it. It's a Reynolds wrap.